Mind Over Matter, Mastering the Art of Observation, written by Colin Davies, published by Mindsmore Audiobooks. The world is not what you see, it's what you make it. Have you ever felt a disconnect between the life you're living and the life you dream of? Like an invisible barrier separates you from the reality you yearn for? What if I told you that barrier is merely a trick of the light, a distortion in your perception? Have you ever wondered? For centuries, we've been taught that the world exists independently of us, a fixed stage upon which we play out our roles. But what if that's not the whole story? What if instead of passive observers, we are active participants in shaping our own reality? This book invites you on a journey beyond the veil of everyday perception, into a realm where thoughts become things, where beliefs shape outcomes, and where you hold the power to create the life you desire. Drawing on cutting-edge scientific discoveries, ancient wisdom traditions, and real-life examples of transformation, we'll explore the fascinating phenomenon known as the observer effect. We'll delve into the quantum realm, where particles dance between possibilities until the very act of observation collapses them into form. We'll uncover the hidden mechanisms by which your mind shapes your experiences, your relationships, and even your physical surroundings. Prepare to challenge your assumptions, expand your awareness, and unlock the extraordinary potential within you. This is not just a book to be read. It's an invitation to a revolution in consciousness. It's a guide to becoming the architect of your own reality, the master of your own destiny. Are you ready to step into the quantum playground and discover the power of your own perception? Turn the page and let the journey begin. We appreciate your support in helping us produce more content for you, so please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Chapter 1. The Quantum Playground. My journey into the observer effect began, oddly enough, with a broken toaster. Not just any broken toaster, mind you, but one that seemed to possess a peculiar sentience. It worked perfectly fine when I was alone in the kitchen, diligently toasting my bread to a golden crisp. But the moment my husband walked in, poof, it would inexplicably malfunction, leaving me with a slice of barely warmed bread and a sense of bewildered frustration. At first, I dismissed it as coincidence, a quirk of faulty wiring. But as the pattern persisted, I couldn't shake the feeling that something more was at play. Was it possible, I wondered, that my own expectations, my anticipation of the toaster's failure, were somehow influencing its performance? This seemingly trivial incident sparked a curiosity that led me down a rabbit hole of scientific inquiry, philosophical exploration, and personal transformation. I discovered a hidden world where the lines between mind and matter blur, where consciousness plays an active role in shaping reality, and where the very act of observation can alter the course of events. This is the world of quantum physics, a realm where the rules of everyday logic seem to dissolve and where the observer effect reigns supreme. Let's break down the term exercise to explore. To understand the observer effect, we need to venture into the subatomic realm, the microscopic world of particles that make up everything around us. Here, in the quantum playground, things behave in ways that defy our common sense understanding of reality. One of the most mind-boggling concepts in quantum physics is the idea that particles can exist in multiple states simultaneously. Imagine a coin spinning in the air. While it's spinning, it's neither heads nor tails, but a blur of potential. It's only when it lands that it collapses into a definite state, either heads or tails. Similarly, subatomic particles like electrons exist in a state of superposition, a kind of quantum limbo, where they can be in multiple places, have multiple speeds, and even spin in multiple directions at the same time. It's as if they haven't quite made up their minds what they want to be. But here's where things get really interesting. The moment we try to observe these particles, to pin them down and measure their properties, they suddenly choose a definite state. It's as if the act of observation forces them to make a decision, to collapse from a cloud of possibilities into a single concrete reality. This phenomenon is vividly illustrated in the famous double-slit experiment. Imagine shining a beam of light through two narrow slits. If light were simply a wave, as classical physics suggests, we would expect to see an interference pattern on the screen behind the slits, like ripples in a pond. And indeed, that's what happens when we don't observe which slit the light passes through. But when scientists set up detectors to observe which slit each photon, a particle of light, goes through, something extraordinary happens. The interference pattern disappears, and the photons behave like tiny bullets, passing through one slit or the other, leaving two distinct marks on the screen. It's as if the photons know they're being watched and decide to act like particles instead of waves. The very act of observation changes their behavior. This is the observer effect in action, a phenomenon that has baffled and intrigued scientists for decades. It challenges our fundamental understanding of reality, suggesting that consciousness is not merely a passive observer, but an active participant in shaping the world around us. Paul J. Ni L. Surgico Takalak. But the implications of the observer effect extend far beyond the laboratory. Recent research in fields like neuroscience and psychoneuroimmunology is revealing the profound ways in which our thoughts, beliefs, and emotions influence our physical health, our relationships, and even our financial success. For example, studies have shown that people with a positive outlook tend to have stronger immune systems and recover faster from illness. Conversely, chronic stress and negative thinking can suppress the immune system and increase the risk of disease. In the realm of relationships, the observer effect suggests that our perceptions of others can actually influence their behavior. If we approach someone with distrust and suspicion, they are more likely to respond defensively, confirming our initial beliefs. But if we approach them with openness and empathy, they are more likely to reciprocate, creating a positive feedback loop. Even our financial well-being can be influenced by our mindset. Studies have shown that people who believe in their ability to attract wealth are more likely to achieve financial success. This is not just about wishful thinking, it's about aligning our thoughts and actions with our desired outcomes. The observer effect is not just a scientific curiosity, it's a powerful tool for personal transformation. By becoming aware of how our observations shape our reality, we can consciously choose to focus on the positive, cultivate empowering beliefs, and create the life we truly desire. So how does this all relate to my broken toaster? Perhaps, on some subtle level, my anticipation of its failure was creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. Or maybe it was just a coincidence, a reminder that the universe loves to play tricks on us. Whatever the explanation, that malfunctioning toaster opened my eyes to a whole new way of seeing the world. A world where consciousness is not just a bystander, but an active participant in the dance of creation. And as you continue reading, I invite you to join me in exploring this quantum playground, where the boundaries of reality blur, and where the power of observation can unlock extraordinary possibilities. End of footnote. Chapter 2. Beyond the Subatomic. The double-slit experiment, with its mind-bending demonstration of wave-particle duality and the observer effect, might seem like a strange and distant phenomenon, confined to the esoteric realm of quantum physics labs. But what if I told you that the same principles that govern the behavior of photons and electrons are also at play in your everyday life, shaping your experiences, relationships, and even your health? It's easy to dismiss quantum physics as something abstract and irrelevant to our daily lives. After all, we don't walk around encountering subatomic particles or worrying about whether our thoughts are collapsing wave functions. But the truth is, the principles of quantum mechanics are not confined to the microscopic world. They permeate every aspect of reality, including the macroscopic world we experience. Think about it. Our bodies, our thoughts, our emotions, and even the objects around us are all ultimately composed of these tiny particles, dancing to the tune of quantum mechanics. And just as the act of observation can influence the behavior of these particles, so too can our consciousness influence the reality we experience. This is not just philosophical speculation. It's supported by a growing body of scientific evidence. For example, in the field of psychoneuroimmunology, researchers are discovering the intricate ways in which our thoughts and emotions interact with our immune system. Studies have shown that chronic stress, negative thinking, and suppressed emotions can weaken our immune response, making us more susceptible to illness. Conversely, positive emotions, optimism, and a sense of purpose can boost our immune function and enhance our overall well-being. One groundbreaking study published in the journal Psychological Science found that individuals who practiced loving-kindness meditation, a technique focused on cultivating feelings of compassion and goodwill, showed increased levels of telomerase activity. Telomerase is an enzyme that protects our DNA from degradation, and its activity is linked to longevity and healthy aging. This suggests that our mental state can have a direct impact on our physical health at a cellular level. The observer effect is also evident in the placebo effect, a well-documented phenomenon in which a person's belief in a treatment, even if it's a sugar pill or a sham procedure, can lead to real physiological changes and improvements in their condition. This demonstrates the power of our expectations and beliefs to shape our physical reality. In the realm of psychology, the observer effect manifests in phenomena like self-fulfilling prophecies. If we believe we are capable and deserving of success, we are more likely to act in ways that lead to positive outcomes. Conversely, if we harbor self-doubt and limiting beliefs, we may inadvertently sabotage our own efforts and create the very reality we fear. This is not to say that we can simply think our way into any desired outcome. The observer effect is not about magical thinking or wish fulfillment. It's about recognizing the profound interconnectedness between our consciousness and our reality. It's about understanding that our thoughts, beliefs, and expectations are not just passive reflections of the world. They are active forces that shape our experiences. Consider the case of Henry Ford, the visionary entrepreneur who revolutionized the automobile industry. Ford faced numerous setbacks and challenges in his early career, but he never wavered in his belief that he could create a car for the masses. 2. He famously said, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right." This unwavering belief in his vision, despite all obstacles, ultimately led to the creation of the Ford Model T, one of the most iconic and influential automobiles in history. Or take the example of Oprah Winfrey, who overcame a childhood of poverty and abuse to become one of the most successful media personalities in the world. Winfrey has often spoken about the power of positive thinking and visualization in achieving her goals. She credits her success, in part, to her unwavering belief in her own potential and her ability to manifest her dreams. These are just a few examples of how the observer effect can play out in the lives of individuals who dare to challenge their limiting beliefs and embrace a vision of a better future. But the observer effect is not just about individual achievement. It also has profound implications for our relationships and social interactions. The way we perceive others, the judgments we make, and the expectations we hold can significantly influence how they behave towards us. For example, studies in social psychology have shown that teachers who hold high expectations for their students tend to elicit better performance from them. This is known as the Pygmalion effect, named after the Greek myth in which a sculptor falls in love with his own creation, a statue of a woman, and his love brings her to life. Similarly, when we believe in the potential of others, we can inspire them to rise to the occasion. On the other hand, if we approach others with negativity, skepticism, or prejudice, we may inadvertently create a self-fulfilling prophecy, reinforcing their negative behaviors or limiting their potential. The observer effect challenges us to take responsibility for the reality we create, not just in our own lives, but also in our interactions with others. It invites us to become more conscious of our thoughts, beliefs, and expectations, and to choose those that empower us and those around us. As we move beyond the subatomic realm and explore the observer effect in the context of our everyday lives, we begin to see that we are not merely passive recipients of a predetermined reality. We are active participants, co-creators of our own experiences. And by understanding the power of our perception, we can unlock the potential to transform our lives and the world around us. Chapter 3. The Lens of Perception. Have you ever noticed how two people can witness the same event and come away with completely different interpretations? One person might see a glass half full, while another sees it half empty. One might perceive a challenge as an opportunity, while another sees it as an obstacle. This disparity in perception is a testament to the power of our minds to shape our reality. The lens through which we view the world filters our experiences, coloring our interpretations and influencing our emotions. Think of your mind as a camera lens. Just as a camera lens can be adjusted to focus on different aspects of a scene, so too can your mind be adjusted to focus on different aspects of reality. A wide-angle lens captures a broad perspective, while a telephoto lens zooms in on specific details. Similarly, your mind can shift between a broad perspective, taking in the bigger picture, and a focused perspective, examining specific details. The way we perceive the world is influenced by a variety of factors, including our upbringing, cultural background, personal experiences, and beliefs. These factors shape our worldview, our values, and our expectations, all of which influence how we interpret the information that comes our way. For example, if you grew up in a family that emphasized the importance of hard work and perseverance, you may be more likely to view challenges as opportunities for growth. On the other hand, if you grew up in a family that focused on avoiding failure, you may be more likely to see challenges as threats. Our beliefs also play a significant role in shaping our perception. If we believe that we are capable of achieving our goals, we are more likely to take action and persevere in the face of obstacles. Conversely, if we believe that we are not worthy of success, we may sabotage our own efforts or give up too easily. The good news is that we have the power to change our perspective. By becoming aware of our thought patterns and beliefs, we can begin to challenge those that are limiting and adopt more empowering ones. One effective technique for shifting your perspective is to practice gratitude. By focusing on the positive aspects of your life, you can shift your attention away from negativity and cultivate a more optimistic outlook. Gratitude can also help to rewire your brain, making it easier to see the good in any situation. Another helpful technique is to practice mindfulness meditation. Being mindful entails focusing on the here and now without passing judgment. Developing mindfulness can help you become more conscious of your thoughts, emotions, and bodily sensations. This increased awareness can help you to recognize and challenge negative thought patterns and cultivate a more positive mindset. By shifting your perspective, you can transform your experiences. What once seemed like a problem can become an opportunity. What once seemed impossible can become achievable. What once seemed like a curse can become a blessing. Remember, the world is not what it appears to be. It is a reflection of your own consciousness. By changing the way you see the world, you can change the world you see. Chapter 4. Mirrors of the Mind. The bustling coffee shop hummed with the low murmur of conversations, the clinking of cups, and the hiss of the espresso machine. But amidst this symphony of urban life, Daniel sat, frozen, a statue of anxiety amidst the flow of human interaction. He clutched his latte, the warmth of the cup a stark contrast to the icy grip of fear that constricted his chest. Across the small table sat Sarah, her eyes sparkling with amusement as she recounted a story from her recent trip to Italy. Daniel, however, was barely listening. His mind was a whirlwind of self-doubt, his inner critic whispering a litany of anxieties. What if I say something stupid? What if she thinks I'm boring? What if she can see right through my facade of confidence? Daniel, a successful architect in his late 30s, was no stranger to social situations. He could confidently present his designs to a room full of executives, navigate networking events with ease, and charm clients with his wit and charisma. But when it came to intimate, one-on-one interactions, especially with someone he was attracted to, a crippling self-consciousness would take hold. He longed for connection, for genuine intimacy, but his fear of vulnerability, of being truly seen, kept him trapped in a cycle of superficial encounters. He would build walls around his heart, projecting an image of effortless confidence, while secretly yearning for someone to see beyond the facade. This internal struggle was mirrored in his external reality. His dating life was a series of fleeting connections, first dates that rarely led to second ones. He would attract women initially with his charm and success, but as soon as the conversation veered towards deeper topics, he would retreat, deflecting with humor or changing the subject. His apartment, a sleek, minimalist space with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, reflected this same pattern. It was stylish and impressive, yet devoid of personal touches, a showcase of success rather than a haven of comfort and vulnerability. Daniel's life, both internal and external, was a reflection of his self-perception. He saw himself as flawed and unworthy of love, and this belief manifested in his experiences. He was trapped in a self-fulfilling prophecy, his fear of rejection creating the very reality he feared. But unbeknownst to Daniel, a shift was about to occur, a subtle crack in the mirror of his self-perception. It started with a book, a gift from his sister, titled The Power of Now. Initially skeptical, Daniel reluctantly began reading, and as he delved into its pages, a new perspective began to dawn on him. The book spoke of the ego, the voice of self-doubt and fear that constantly chattered in his mind, creating a false sense of separation from the present moment. It encouraged him to observe his thoughts and emotions without judgment, to become aware of the stories he was telling himself about who he was and what he deserved. Daniel began to practice mindfulness, paying attention to his breath, his body sensations, and the world around him. He started to notice the constant stream of negative thoughts that ran through his mind, the self-criticism, the anxieties, the fears. As he became more aware of these thoughts, he realized they were not truths, but merely mental constructs, stories he had created about himself based on past experiences and limiting beliefs. He began to question these stories, to challenge their validity. One evening, while on a date with a woman named Emily, Daniel found himself caught in a familiar spiral of self-doubt. He felt his palms sweating, his heart racing, his mind scrambling for something witty or impressive to say. But then he remembered the lessons from the book. He took a deep breath, focusing on the present moment, on Emily's warm smile and genuine interest in his words. He allowed himself to be vulnerable, sharing a personal story about his childhood that he had never shared with anyone before. To his surprise, Emily didn't recoil or judge him. Instead, she listened with empathy and understanding, sharing a vulnerable story of her own. In that moment of shared vulnerability, a connection sparked, a genuine intimacy that transcended the superficiality of his past encounters. This experience was a turning point for Daniel. He began to see that his fear of vulnerability was not protecting him, it was isolating him. He realized that true connection required authenticity, the courage to show up as his true self, flaws and all. As he continued to practice mindfulness and challenge his limiting beliefs, Daniel's internal reality began to shift. He started to see himself as worthy of love and connection, and this new self-perception began to manifest in his external reality. He redecorated his apartment, adding personal touches that reflected his interests and passions. He started to express his emotions more freely, both with friends and romantic partners. He no longer felt the need to hide behind a facade of confidence. He embraced his vulnerability as a strength. His relationships deepened, his connections became more authentic, and he finally experienced the intimacy he had longed for. His life was no longer a reflection of his fears and insecurities. It was a reflection of his true self, a self that was worthy of love, connection, and fulfillment. Daniel's transformation illustrates the powerful connection between our internal and external realities. Our thoughts, beliefs, and self-perceptions are not just abstract concepts, they are active forces that shape our experiences and relationships. The journey of transformation begins with awareness. By becoming aware of the power of our perception, we can begin to consciously design a reality that reflects our deepest desires and aspirations. We can become the architects of our own lives, the masters of our own destiny. Chapter 5. The Choice Point. The aroma of pine needles and damp earth filled the air as Elena hiked deeper into the forest. Sunlight filtered through the canopy of towering trees, casting dappled shadows on the forest floor. With each step, she felt a sense of calm wash over her, a welcome respite from the turmoil that had consumed her life in recent months. Elena, a talented musician in her early 20s, had always been driven by a deep passion for her craft. She poured her heart and soul into her music, her violin becoming an extension of her very being. But lately, a nagging doubt had crept into her mind, a whisper of uncertainty that threatened to derail her dreams. The pressure of competition, the constant striving for perfection, and the fear of failure had begun to weigh heavily on her. She found herself questioning her talent, comparing herself to others, and agonizing over every note, every nuance of her performance. This internal struggle had manifested in her external reality. Her once effortless performances became strained, her music lacking the joy and spontaneity that had once defined her style. She began to avoid auditions, fearing rejection and judgment. Her confidence, once a beacon of unwavering self-belief, flickered like a candle in a strong wind. Elena had reached a crossroads, a choice point in her life. She could succumb to the fear and self-doubt that threatened to extinguish her passion, or she could choose a different path, a path of self-belief and unwavering commitment to her dreams. As she wandered through the tranquil forest, a sense of clarity began to emerge. She realized that her fear was not an enemy to be conquered, but a guide, a signal pointing towards the areas where she needed to grow and evolve. She recognized that her relentless pursuit of perfection was not serving her. It was stifling her creativity and robbing her of the joy she once found in her music. She needed to embrace imperfection, to allow herself to make mistakes, to trust in the process of growth and learning. Elena made a conscious choice. She would no longer allow fear to dictate her actions. She would embrace her vulnerability, her imperfections, and her unique voice as a musician. She would trust in her talent, her passion, and her unwavering commitment to her craft. This internal shift marked a turning point in Elena's journey. She returned to her music with renewed vigor, her performances infused with a newfound authenticity and vulnerability. She no longer sought to be perfect. She sought to express her true self through her music. She began to view auditions not as tests of her worth, but as opportunities to share her passion with others. She embraced the possibility of rejection, recognizing that it was not a reflection of her talent, but simply a mismatch of artistic vision. As her confidence grew, so did her opportunities. She was invited to perform at a prestigious music festival, where she captivated the audience with her raw talent and emotional depth. She received glowing reviews, her music praised for its authenticity and vulnerability. Elena's journey illustrates the power of choice in shaping our reality. We are not merely passive recipients of fate. We are active participants, co-creating our lives with every decision we make. At every moment, we are faced with a multitude of choices, each leading to a different potential outcome. These choices, often subtle and seemingly insignificant, can have a profound impact on the trajectory of our lives. The choice to focus on the negative or the positive, the choice to embrace fear or to face it with courage, the choice to dwell on the past or to embrace the present moment, these choices, and countless others, shape the reality we experience. The observer effect teaches us that our consciousness is not merely a passive observer of reality. It is an active participant, influencing the very fabric of our existence. By becoming aware of our choices, by consciously choosing thoughts, beliefs, and actions that empower us, we can create a reality that aligns with our deepest desires and aspirations. Elena's choice to embrace her vulnerability and trust in her passion led her to a path of greater fulfillment and success. Her story is a reminder that we all have the power to choose our own path, to create a reality that reflects our true potential. As you continue reading, I invite you to reflect on your own life. What choices are you making, consciously or unconsciously, that are shaping your reality? Are you choosing fear or courage? Are you choosing self-doubt or self-belief? Are you choosing to dwell on the past or to embrace the present moment? The power to create the life you desire lies within you. By becoming aware of your choices, by consciously choosing those that empower you, you can step into your role as a conscious creator, the architect of your own reality. Chapter 6. The Observer in Relationships. The air crackled with tension as Sarah and Mark sat across from each other at the kitchen table. A silence, thick and heavy, hung between them, broken only by the ticking of the clock. Sarah's heart pounded in her chest, a mix of anger, hurt, and confusion. She had confronted Mark about his recent behavior, his lack of interest in their relationship. Mark, in response, had retreated further, his words defensive and dismissive. He accused her of being overly sensitive, of making mountains out of molehills. He blamed his behavior on work stress, on the pressure to succeed. Sarah felt a familiar wave of frustration wash over her. She had tried to communicate her feelings, to express her needs, but he seemed unable or unwilling to listen. She felt unheard, unseen, a mere shadow in his life. This pattern of miscommunication and misunderstanding had become a recurring theme in their relationship. They would argue, they would make up, but the underlying issues would remain unresolved, festering like a wound that refused to heal. Sarah realized that their communication breakdown was rooted in their differing perceptions of the situation. She saw their relationship as a partnership, a shared journey of growth and support. Mark, however, seemed to view it as a transactional relationship, a means to an end, a way to maintain his social status and fulfill his obligations. She began to question her own role in the dynamic. Had she been too passive, too accommodating, too willing to compromise her own needs? Had she allowed herself to be defined by her relationship with Mark rather than by her own identity? As she reflected on her past relationships, Sarah realized a recurring pattern. She had often chosen partners who mirrored her own insecurities, men who would unconsciously reinforce her belief that she was not worthy of love and attention. This realization was a powerful catalyst for change. Sarah began to explore her own self-worth, to challenge her limiting beliefs, and to set healthy boundaries in her relationships. She learned to communicate her needs assertively, to express her feelings without blame or resentment, and to listen with empathy and understanding. She also began to practice mindfulness, focusing on the present moment and observing her thoughts and emotions without judgment. This helped her to become more aware of her own reactions and to respond to situations with greater clarity and compassion. As Sarah shifted her perspective, her relationships began to transform. She attracted people who valued her, who respected her boundaries, and who supported her growth. She learned to let go of relationships that were no longer serving her and to embrace new connections that brought joy and fulfillment. Her relationship with Mark, however, proved to be more challenging. Despite her efforts to communicate openly and honestly, he remained resistant to change. Eventually, Sarah made the difficult decision to end the relationship, knowing that it was the only way to move forward. This was a painful experience, but it was also a necessary one. It allowed her to fully embrace her newfound sense of self-worth and to open herself up to new possibilities. Sarah's journey is a reminder that our relationships are mirrors of our inner world. The way we perceive ourselves, the beliefs we hold about love, intimacy, and connection, all shape the quality of our relationships. By becoming aware of our own patterns of behavior, our attachment styles, and our expectations in relationships, we can begin to create more fulfilling and authentic connections. We can learn to communicate effectively, to express our needs and boundaries, and to listen with empathy and understanding. The observer effect teaches us that our perception shapes our reality, including our relationships. By shifting our perspective, by challenging our limiting beliefs, and by cultivating a mindset of love and acceptance, we can transform our relationships and create a more meaningful and fulfilling life. Chapter 7. The Observer in the World. Maya sat on the park bench, a worn copy of Silent Spring in her lap. The once pristine lake, now choked with algae, was a stark reminder of humanity's destructive impact on the environment. A wave of sadness washed over her as she contemplated the fragile state of our planet. She had always been passionate about environmental issues, but lately she felt overwhelmed by the scale of the problem. Climate change, deforestation, pollution. The challenges seemed insurmountable. It was easy to slip into despair, to feel powerless in the face of such immense destruction. But then she remembered the lessons she had learned about the observer effect. She realized that her perception of the situation was shaping her emotions and her actions. If she focused on the problems, she would only feel helpless and hopeless. But if she shifted her focus to solutions, to the potential for positive change, she could ignite a spark of hope within herself. Maya decided to take action. She joined a local environmental organization, volunteering her time to clean up parks, plant trees, and educate others about sustainable living. She also started a blog to share her passion for environmental conservation and to inspire others to make a difference. Through her activism, Maya connected with like-minded individuals who shared her vision of a sustainable future. Together, they organized community cleanup events, lobbied for stricter environmental regulations, and raised awareness about the importance of protecting our planet. How does it feel? As she became more involved in the environmental movement, Maya realized that the observer effect was not just a personal phenomenon. It was a collective force that could shape the course of human history. Our shared beliefs, our collective consciousness, could influence the choices we make as individuals and as a society. The collective consciousness, a term coined by Carl Jung, refers to the shared unconscious of humanity, a vast reservoir of archetypes, myths, and symbols that connect us all. It is through this collective consciousness that we can tap into the power of human potential and create a more sustainable and equitable future. The environmental crisis, like many of the challenges facing humanity, is a manifestation of our collective consciousness. It is a reflection of our values, our priorities, and our relationship with the natural world. By shifting our collective consciousness, by embracing a more sustainable and compassionate worldview, we can create a world that is both ecologically sound and socially just. The shift in consciousness requires a fundamental change in our way of thinking and living. It requires us to move away from a consumerist and materialistic mindset towards a more sustainable and equitable approach. It requires us to prioritize the well-being of future generations over short-term economic gain. As individuals, we can make a difference by making conscious choices in our daily lives. We can reduce our carbon footprint, conserve resources, and support businesses that prioritize sustainability. We can also use our voices to advocate for policies that protect the environment and promote social justice. But the true power of the observer effect lies in our collective action. When we come together, united by a shared vision of a better future, we can create a ripple effect that extends far beyond our individual efforts. Maya's journey is a testament to the power of the observer effect to create positive change. By shifting her perception, by choosing hope over despair, by taking action, she became part of a movement that is transforming the world. We all have the power to be agents of change, to shape our own destinies and the destiny of our planet. By becoming conscious observers, by choosing our thoughts, beliefs, and actions wisely, we can create a future that is sustainable, equitable, and fulfilling for all. Chapter 8. The Art of Self-Awareness. The antique clock ticked rhythmically in the corner of the therapist's office, its gentle cadence a counterpoint to the storm brewing within Alex. He shifted uncomfortably in his chair, his gaze darting around the room, avoiding the compassionate eyes of Dr. Evans. "Tell me, Alex," Dr. Evans began, her voice calm and reassuring. "What brings you here today?" Alex hesitated, a knot of anxiety tightening in his stomach. I don't know," he mumbled, his voice barely above a whisper. "I just feel lost." The word hung in the air, a stark admission of the inner turmoil that had plagued Alex for months. He was a successful entrepreneur, the founder of a thriving tech startup. From the outside, his life seemed perfect, a picture of ambition, innovation, and achievement. But beneath the surface, a deep sense of unease gnawed at him, a feeling that he was living a life out of sync with his true self. His days were a blur of meetings, deadlines, and networking events. He thrived on the adrenaline rush of closing deals, the thrill of pushing boundaries, the satisfaction of building something from the ground up. But amidst the constant striving, the relentless pursuit of success, he had lost touch with something essential, his own inner compass. He felt like a chameleon, adapting to the expectations of others, playing the role of the driven entrepreneur, the visionary leader. But who was he beneath the masks? What were his true values, his passions, his deepest desires? Dr. Evans, with her gentle guidance and insightful questions, helped Alex embark on a journey of self-discovery, a quest to uncover the authentic self hidden beneath layers of societal expectations and self-imposed pressures. This journey began with self-awareness, the ability to turn inwards and observe one's thoughts, emotions, and behaviors without judgment. It was like holding up a mirror to the soul, illuminating the hidden corners of the self, the beliefs, fears, and desires that shaped his reality. One of the first tools Dr. Evans introduced Alex to was journaling. She encouraged him to write down his thoughts and feelings, to capture the stream of consciousness that often flowed unnoticed beneath the surface of his busy mind. At first, Alex found the practice awkward and uncomfortable. He was used to analyzing data, strategizing, and solving problems, not delving into the messy world of emotions and introspection. But as he persisted, he began to notice patterns emerging, recurring themes that revealed his underlying beliefs and motivations. He discovered a deep-seated fear of failure, a belief that his worth was tied to his achievements. This fear fueled his relentless drive for success, pushing him to work long hours, sacrifice personal relationships, and neglect his own well-being. He also uncovered a yearning for connection, a desire for authentic relationships that went beyond the superficial interactions of the business world. He realized that his fear of vulnerability had kept him at arm's length from others, preventing him from forming deep and meaningful bonds. Through journaling, Alex began to develop a greater understanding of himself, his strengths, his weaknesses, his values, and his aspirations. He started to see the ways in which his thoughts and beliefs were shaping his reality, creating a self-fulfilling prophecy of stress, anxiety, and isolation. Dr. Evans also introduced Alex to mindfulness meditation, a practice that involved paying attention to the present moment without judgment. She explained that our minds are often caught in a whirlwind of thoughts, worries about the future, regrets about the past, a constant chatter that distracts us from the beauty and richness of the present moment. Mindfulness, she explained, was like hitting the pause button on this mental chatter, allowing us to observe our thoughts and emotions without getting carried away by them. It was a way to cultivate a sense of inner peace, to connect with our true selves, and to gain clarity about our values and priorities. Alex began to incorporate mindfulness into his daily routine, setting aside a few minutes each morning to sit quietly, focus on his breath, and observe the thoughts and sensations that arose without judgment. At first, his mind would race, jumping from one thought to another like a monkey swinging from branch to branch. But gradually, with practice, he learned to calm the mental chatter, to create space for stillness and introspection. As he cultivated mindfulness, Alex noticed a shift in his perception. He became more aware of his emotional reactions, his triggers, and his habitual patterns of behavior. He started to recognize the early warning signs of stress and anxiety, allowing him to take proactive steps to manage his well-being. He also began to appreciate the simple joys of life, the warmth of the sun on his skin, the taste of a freshly brewed cup of coffee, the laughter of his friends. He found himself more present in his interactions with others, listening with greater empathy and communicating with greater authenticity. The journey of self-awareness is not always easy. It requires courage to confront our shadows, our fears, and our limiting beliefs. It requires honesty to acknowledge our weaknesses and our vulnerabilities. But it is a journey that is ultimately rewarding, leading us to a deeper understanding of ourselves, our purpose, and our place in the world. Alex's journey of self-discovery is a testament to the transformative power of self-awareness. By turning inwards, by exploring his inner landscape, he began to create a life that was more aligned with his true self. He learned to manage his stress, cultivate healthier relationships, and found greater meaning and purpose in his work. Chapter 9: The Power of Intention. The sun dappled through the canopy of ancient trees, casting intricate patterns of light and shadow on the forest floor. Anya sat cross-legged, her eyes closed, her breath slow and steady. She was immersed in a state of deep meditation, her mind still and focused. For years, Anya had been drawn to the spiritual practices of mindfulness and meditation. She had found solace in these practices, a refuge from the chaos and noise of the modern world. But it was only recently that she had begun to explore the deeper dimensions of consciousness, the power of intention, and the role of the observer in shaping reality. She had learned about the concept of intention, the idea that our thoughts and desires can influence the course of events. It was a concept that resonated with her deeply, a concept that seemed to offer a key to unlocking the mysteries of the universe and the hidden potential within herself. Intention, she realized, was not just a fleeting thought or wish. It was a powerful force, a creative energy that could manifest in the physical world. By focusing her attention, directing her energy, and holding a clear intention, she could influence the outcome of events and shape her own reality. A pretty common phrase nowadays, but perhaps it was once a word used in the creative arts and sciences. One day, as she sat in meditation, she set the intention to attract a new job opportunity that would be both fulfilling and financially rewarding. She visualized herself in a new role, working with a supportive team, making a positive impact on the world. Within a few weeks, she received an unexpected job offer from a company that aligned perfectly with her values and interests. The job was challenging, but it also offered opportunities for growth and creativity. Anya felt a sense of gratitude and wonder as she realized the power of her intention. She began to apply this principle to other areas of her life, setting intentions for her relationships, her health, and her personal growth. She would sit quietly, focusing her attention on a specific intention, visualizing it as if it had already happened. She would then let go of the outcome, trusting in the universe to bring about the best possible outcome. As she continued to practice this technique, she noticed a shift in her perspective. She became more optimistic, more hopeful, and more confident in her ability to shape her own destiny. She started to see opportunities where she once saw obstacles, and she approached challenges with a sense of resilience and determination. She also began to attract people who shared her values and supported her goals. Her friendships deepened, her relationships blossomed, and she felt more connected to the people around her. Anya's journey of intention and manifestation was not always smooth sailing. There were times when she felt discouraged, when her intentions seemed to fall flat. But she persevered, trusting in the process and believing in the power of her own mind. She learned that intention was not a magic wand that could instantly grant her wishes. It was a tool, a practice, a way of being. It required patience, persistence, and a willingness to let go of control. She also realized that intention was not about forcing outcomes or manipulating circumstances. It was about aligning her energy with her desires, trusting in the flow of life, and allowing the universe to conspire in her favor. As she continued to cultivate her intention, she became more attuned to the subtle signs and synchronicities that appeared in her life. She saw the universe as a vast web of interconnectedness, a tapestry of infinite possibilities. That's very liberating, Sarsa. Anya's story is a testament to the power of intention and the observer effect. By focusing her attention, by believing in her dreams, and by taking inspired action, she was able to manifest a life that was truly fulfilling and meaningful. As you embark on your own journey of self-discovery and transformation, remember the power of intention. Set clear intentions, visualize your desired outcomes, and take inspired action. Trust in the universe, trust in yourself, and watch as your dreams unfold before your eyes. Chapter 10. Cultivating Mindfulness. The insistent chirping of his phone dragged David from his restless sleep. He swatted at the nightstand, silencing the alarm with a groan. Another day, another overwhelming to-do list, another battle against the relentless ticking of the clock. David, a high-powered lawyer in a prestigious firm, was a master of multitasking, a juggler of deadlines, a conductor of chaos. His days were a whirlwind of court appearances, client meetings, and document reviews. He thrived on the pressure, the intellectual sparring, the satisfaction of winning a case. But beneath the veneer of success, a constant undercurrent of anxiety pulsed through him. His mind was a battlefield of competing thoughts, worries about upcoming trials, concerns about his family, and a nagging sense that he was missing out on the present moment. He was always on, always connected, always striving. Even in moments of leisure, his mind would race, replaying past arguments, anticipating future challenges, never fully present in the now. This constant mental chatter created a sense of disconnect, a feeling of being a spectator in his own life. He longed for a sense of peace, a moment of stillness amidst the storm. One evening, while attending a networking event, he overheard a conversation about mindfulness. Intrigued, he approached the group and listened as they discussed the benefits of this ancient practice. Mindfulness, they explained, was the art of paying attention to the present moment without judgment. It was about cultivating awareness of one's thoughts, emotions, and bodily sensations, without getting carried away by them. It was a way to train the mind to be present, to find stillness amidst the chaos, to connect with the inner peace that resides within us all. David, skeptical but curious, decided to give it a try. He downloaded a meditation app and began practicing guided meditations for a few minutes each day. At first, his mind resisted, rebelling against the unfamiliar quietude. Thoughts would intrude, worries would surface, and his body would fidget with restlessness. But gradually, with consistent practice, he began to notice subtle shifts. The mental chatter quieted, the anxieties lessened, and a sense of calm began to settle over him. He found himself more present in his interactions, more attuned to the nuances of his surroundings, more appreciative of the simple joys of life. He started to notice the warmth of the sun on his skin, the taste of his morning coffee, the laughter of his children. He found himself listening more attentively to his clients, his colleagues, and his loved ones. He became more aware of his own emotions, recognizing the triggers that led to stress and anxiety. Mindfulness was not about emptying his mind or suppressing his thoughts. It was about observing them without judgment, allowing them to come and go like clouds passing across the sky. It was about cultivating a sense of spaciousness within himself, a place of stillness amidst the storm. As he deepened his practice, David began to incorporate mindfulness into his daily life. He would take mindful walks in nature, paying attention to the sights, sounds, and smells around him. He would eat mindfully, savoring each bite, appreciating the flavors and textures of his food. He would even practice mindfulness while working, focusing his attention on the task at hand, minimizing distractions, and taking breaks to reconnect with his breath and his body. The more he practiced mindfulness, the more he realized that it was not just a technique, but a way of being. It was about cultivating a sense of presence, of awareness, of connection to the present moment. It was about living with intention rather than reacting habitually. He found that mindfulness helped him to manage his stress, to improve his focus, and to cultivate greater empathy and compassion for himself and others. He became more patient, more understanding, and more present in his relationships. His work also benefited from his mindfulness practice. He found that he was able to concentrate more effectively, to make decisions with greater clarity, and to approach challenges with greater equanimity. He was no longer driven by the relentless pursuit of success. He was guided by a deeper sense of purpose and meaning. David's journey is a testament to the transformative power of mindfulness. By cultivating awareness of the present moment, he was able to break free from the grip of anxiety, find greater peace and fulfillment, and live a more authentic and meaningful life. As you continue your own exploration of the observer effect, consider incorporating mindfulness into your daily routine. Start with a few minutes of meditation each day, focusing on your breath, your body sensations, or the sounds around you. Gradually increase the duration of your practice as you become more comfortable. You can also practice mindfulness in everyday activities, such as walking, eating, or listening to music. Pay attention to the sensations, the details, the nuances of the experience. Be present, be curious, be open to the richness of the present moment. Chapter 11. The Quantum Leap. The soft glow of the bedside lamp illuminated the worn pages of the book in Anya's hands. She had been delving deeper into the world of quantum physics, fascinated by the implications of the observer effect for human consciousness. The more she learned, the more she realized that the boundary between the physical and the metaphysical was becoming increasingly blurred. She began to see the universe as a vast quantum field of infinite possibilities, a cosmic playground where thoughts and intentions could manifest as tangible reality. This realization sparked a desire within her to explore the potential of her own mind. She began to experiment with various techniques, from meditation and visualization to affirmations and intention setting. She discovered that by focusing her attention, directing her energy, and holding a clear intention, she could influence the course of her life in profound ways. One day, while meditating, Anya had a powerful visualization. She saw herself standing on a stage giving a TED Talk about the power of the observer effect. She could feel the energy of the audience, their rapt attention, their admiration. She was speaking with confidence, clarity, and passion, sharing her insights with the world. First, she dismissed this vision as a mere fantasy, a wishful thought. But as she continued to meditate and visualize, the idea began to take root. She started to research TED Talks, studying the format, the style, the delivery. She practiced her presentation skills, speaking in front of a mirror, recording herself, and seeking feedback from friends and family. With each step, her confidence grew. She began to believe in her ability to share her knowledge and inspire others. She submitted her TED Talk proposal, and to her surprise, she was selected to speak at an upcoming conference. The day of the TED Talk arrived, and Anya felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. As she stepped onto the stage, she took a deep breath and focused on her intention to share her message with clarity and passion, to inspire others to tap into their own potential. Her talk was a resounding success. The audience was captivated by her insights, her enthusiasm, and her authenticity. She received numerous messages of gratitude and encouragement, and her TED Talk went viral, reaching millions of people around the world. Awakening pains in the body are one way that creates Isaac's particle projection within the brain and nervous system. A link is explained under the video link in the podcast. This experience was a powerful affirmation of the observer effect. By focusing her attention, by visualizing her success, and by taking inspired action, Anya had manifested her dream. She had become a co-creator of her own reality. This experience also deepened her understanding of the interconnectedness of all things. She realized that her thoughts and actions had a ripple effect, influencing not only her own life, but also the lives of others. Anya's journey is a testament to the power of intention, the power of belief, and the power of the observer effect. By shifting her perspective, by tapping into her inner wisdom, and by taking inspired action, she was able to transform her life and make a positive impact on the world. As you continue your own journey of self-discovery, remember that you are not a passive observer of your life. You are an active participant, a co-creator of your reality. By setting clear intentions, by visualizing your desired outcomes, and by taking inspired action, you can manifest your dreams and create a life that is truly fulfilling and meaningful. The universe is a vast canvas, and you are the artist. With each thought, each word, each action, you are painting a masterpiece of your own creation. So, what kind of masterpiece will you create? Chapter 12. The Observer in Relationships. The soft jazz music swirled around Isabella as she sat in the dimly lit cafe, nursing a cappuccino. Across from her, Michael fidgeted with his phone, his brow furrowed in concentration. Isabella sighed inwardly, a familiar pang of loneliness echoing in her chest. This wasn't how she had envisioned their date. She had been excited to connect with Michael, drawn to his intelligence and his passion for social justice, but their conversation felt strained, punctuated by awkward silences and forced smiles. Isabella, a vibrant and empathetic woman in her late 20s, had a history of attracting emotionally unavailable partners. She would pour her heart and soul into relationships, only to find herself feeling drained and unfulfilled. She yearned for deep connection, for a partner who could meet her emotional needs and reciprocate her vulnerability. As she observed Michael's distracted demeanor, a realization dawned on her. She was once again projecting her own insecurities onto her partner, interpreting his behavior through the lens of her past experiences. She was assuming that his lack of engagement was a reflection of her own anxieties or distractions. She was the last person to consider his love for her parenting. This realization was a turning point for Isabella. She had been exploring the observer effect for some time, fascinated by the idea that our perception shapes our reality. She had learned to apply this principle to her career, her health, and her personal growth, but she had yet to fully grasp its implications for her relationships. She began to see that her past relationships were not failures, but rather opportunities for growth and self-discovery. Each relationship had mirrored her own inner world, reflecting her beliefs about love, intimacy, and connection. Isabella realized that she had been unconsciously attracting partners who validated her limiting beliefs about herself. She believed that she was not worthy of love and attention, and she would unconsciously choose partners who reinforced this belief. This pattern, she understood, stemmed from her childhood experiences. Growing up with emotionally distant parents, she had learned to associate love with conditional approval. She believed that she had to earn love by being perfect, by pleasing others, by suppressing her own needs. This realization was both painful and liberating. Painful because it forced her to confront the deep-seated insecurities that had been driving her behavior. Liberating because it empowered her to break free from these patterns and create healthier, more fulfilling relationships. Isabella began to practice self-compassion, treating herself with the same kindness and understanding that she would offer a dear friend. She challenged her limiting beliefs, replacing them with affirmations of self-worth and self-love. She also started to set healthy boundaries in her relationships, communicating her needs assertively and refusing to compromise her values. She learned to recognize red flags, to identify patterns of behavior that were not conducive to a healthy and fulfilling relationship. As she shifted her perspective, her relationships began to transform. She attracted partners who were emotionally available, who valued her for who she was, and who supported her growth. She no longer felt the need to chase love or to prove her worth. She allowed love to flow freely, based on mutual respect and understanding. Her date with Michael that evening took a turn for the better as she consciously chose to shift her perception. She released her assumptions about his behavior and engaged with him with genuine curiosity and empathy. She asked him about his work, his passions, his dreams. As he opened up, she saw a different side of him, a vulnerability and sensitivity that had been hidden beneath his initial reserve. They connected on a deeper level, sharing their vulnerabilities and their hopes for the future. While they didn't end up becoming romantic partners, their connection blossomed into a beautiful friendship, a testament to the power of authentic connection and mutual respect. Isabella's journey illustrates the profound impact of the observer effect on our relationships. By becoming aware of our own beliefs, patterns, and projections, we can transform our relationships and create a more fulfilling and loving experience. We can learn to choose partners who align with our values and support our growth. We can communicate our needs effectively, set healthy boundaries, and cultivate a deeper sense of intimacy and connection. The observer effect reminds us that our relationships are not just external events that happen to us. They are reflections of our inner world, our beliefs, and our expectations. By shifting our perception, by embracing self-love and self-worth, we can create relationships that are truly fulfilling and transformative. Chapter 13. The Quantum Leap. The soft glow of the bedside lamp illuminated the worn pages of the book in Anya's hands. She had been delving deeper into the world of quantum physics, fascinated by the implications of the observer effect for human consciousness. The more she learned, the more she realized that the boundary between the physical and the metaphysical was becoming increasingly blurred. She began to see the universe as a vast quantum field of infinite possibilities, a cosmic playground where thoughts and intentions could manifest as tangible reality. This realization sparked a desire within her to explore the potential of her own mind. She began to experiment with various techniques, from meditation and visualization to affirmations and intention setting. She discovered that by focusing her attention, directing her energy, and holding a clear intention, she could influence the course of her life in profound ways. One day, while meditating, Anya had a powerful visualization. She saw herself standing on a stage, giving a TED Talk about the power of the observer effect. She could feel the energy of the audience, their rapt attention, their admiration. She was speaking with confidence, clarity, and passion, sharing her insights with the world. At first, she dismissed this vision as a mere fantasy, a wishful thought. But as she continued to meditate and visualize, the idea began to take root. She started to research TED Talks, studying the format, the style, the delivery. She practiced her presentation skills, speaking in front of a mirror, recording herself, and seeking feedback from friends and family. With each step, her confidence grew. She began to believe in her ability to share her knowledge and inspire others. She submitted her TED Talk proposal, and to her surprise, she was selected to speak at an upcoming conference. The day of the TED Talk arrived, and Anya felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. As she stepped onto the stage, she took a deep breath and focused on her intention, to share her message with clarity and passion, to inspire others to tap into their own potential. Her talk was a resounding success. The audience was captivated by her insights, her enthusiasm, and her authenticity. She received numerous messages of gratitude and encouragement, and her TED Talk went viral, reaching millions of people around the world. This experience was a powerful affirmation of the observer effect. By focusing her attention, by visualizing her success, and by taking inspired action, Anya had manifested her dream. She had become a co-creator of her own reality. This experience also deepened her understanding of the interconnectedness of all things. She realized that her thoughts and actions had a ripple effect, influencing not only her own life, but also the lives of others. Anya's journey is a testament to the power of intention, the power of belief, and the power of the observer effect. By shifting her perspective, by tapping into her inner wisdom, and by taking inspired action, she was able to transform her life and make a positive impact on the world. As you continue your own journey of self-discovery, remember that you are not a passive observer of your life. You are an active participant, a co-creator of your reality. By becoming aware of your thoughts, beliefs, and intentions, you can shape your experiences and create a life that is truly fulfilling and meaningful. Chapter 14. Embracing the Quantum Dance. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in a breathtaking tapestry of fiery oranges, deep purples, and soft pinks. Liam stood on the balcony of his beachfront apartment, the gentle rhythm of the waves washing away the remnants of the day's stresses. He took a deep breath, the salty air filling his lungs, a sense of profound peace settling over him. Liam, a seasoned entrepreneur with a string of successful ventures under his belt, had spent years chasing the elusive dream of making it. He had climbed the corporate ladder, built businesses from scratch, and amassed a fortune that would ensure his financial security for life. But despite his outward success, a nagging emptiness lingered within him. He felt disconnected, a cog in the machine of the modern world, his life driven by external pressures rather than inner purpose. His journey into the observer effect had been a revelation, a paradigm shift that had transformed his understanding of himself and the world around him. He had learned that he was not merely a passive observer of his life, but an active participant, a co-creator of his reality. He had discovered the power of his thoughts, beliefs, and intentions to shape his experiences. He had learned to cultivate self-awareness, to challenge his limiting beliefs, and to embrace his authentic self. He had also come to appreciate the interconnectedness of all things, the delicate dance between his inner world and the outer reality. He saw the world with new eyes, recognizing the beauty, the complexity, and the infinite potential that surrounded him. As he stood on the balcony, gazing at the mesmerizing sunset, a wave of gratitude washed over him. He was grateful for the challenges he had faced, for the lessons he had learned, and for the journey that had led him to this moment of profound peace and understanding. He realized that the true measure of success was not the size of his bank account or the accolades he had received, but the depth of his connection to himself, to others, and to the world around him. He had learned to embrace the quantum dance, the interplay between his inner world and the outer reality. He understood that his thoughts, beliefs, and intentions were not just abstract concepts. They were powerful forces that could shape his experiences and influence the world around him. He had also come to appreciate the importance of living in alignment with his values, his passions, and his purpose. He had discovered that true fulfillment came not from chasing external goals, but from living a life that reflected his authentic self. Liam's journey had been a process of letting go, of surrendering to the flow of life, of trusting in the wisdom of the universe. He had learned to release his attachment to outcomes, to embrace uncertainty, and to find joy in the present moment. He had also discovered the power of gratitude, the ability to appreciate the blessings in his life, the small moments of joy, the connections with loved ones, the beauty of the natural world. As he continued to gaze at the sunset, Liam felt a sense of deep connection to the universe, a sense of belonging to something greater than himself. He realized that he was not just an individual, but a part of a vast web of interconnectedness, a participant in the cosmic dance of creation. He knew that his journey was far from over, that there would be challenges and setbacks along the way. But he also knew that he had the tools and the inner strength to navigate these challenges with grace and resilience. He had learned to embrace the quantum dance, to trust in the flow of life, and to co-create a reality that reflected his deepest values and aspirations. As you embark on your own journey of self-discovery and transformation, remember that you are not alone. You are part of a collective consciousness, a network of interconnected beings who are all striving to create a more fulfilling and meaningful life. Embrace the quantum dance, trust in the wisdom of the universe, and co-create a reality that reflects your authentic self and your deepest desires. The world is waiting for your unique contribution, your light, your love. Step into your power as a conscious creator and embrace the infinite possibilities that await you. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you have an amazing day. I would be really grateful if you could share and comment. Until we cross paths again, XOP.